Okay, what's going
Right, we are live, y'all. Once again, we are live. So we got Charles here in the building. You already know. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about sinners. Okay. So when we talk about sinners, this is going to be a recap, a review, our opinion about the movie Sinners, because Sinners, it was a lot going on in that movie. It was definitely a lot. So Charles, talk to me.
on? We talked about this. We were going to do this. We're going to keep continuing to do this. One of the things that we don't do, that we forgot to do, is we used to watch movies and watch stuff, and we used to talk about it. And the
Right.
thing about talking about it is you're able to get to see what you didn't see from another perspective, from someone else's perspective. So they can get you to go back and go like, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I saw the movie 3 times. And I watched it again partially today, and I saw something that I didn't see the other 2 times. Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
Just give me 2 seconds. I gotta put a background.
Okay,
2 seconds.
You're supposed to do that already.
Come on.
See, I just got on. I'm trying to get it situated right now.
Supposed to set that up before.
I see, I
Good.
You gotta ask Rich. Talk to Rich. I ain't had to say it. It's not my fault.
All
right. So this is why we like, for folks that see Sinners, like, right now in the comment section, like, what do you think about Sinners? Like, what is it that you got from the movie? You feel what I'm saying? Like, what did you got from it? What was the subliminal messages? What did you see? Because like I said, it was a lot going on, in that movie. From I want to say shout out to Michaelbjordan, the actor. Shout out to all the actors, because they definitely did good. Shout out to the ones behind the scenes, and shout out to the crew members also that did the movie. So, like I said, it was a lot. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that movie.
So I mean, Charles, you want because like I was saying like this, right? When we look for in the beginning, right, is that in the beginning you see that you have, what is it, smoke, and then you have like the twins, right?
Yeah.
Let's go far back into the beginning. Okay,
let's do this first.
Mm-hmm.
Before we do that, let's get into the introduction first. So, let's talk about the movie. Okay, first of all, this is not going to be the whole thing, because the movie's over 2 hours long.
Absolutely.
So we can't talk about it in one sitting. It's just too much.
Absolutely.
It's just too much. So that's
the main parts.
But we can do that. But if we're going to do a part 2, which is fine, because it's just too much to grab, to understand. It's just way too much. So the beginning portion. Okay, before we even do that, let's understand that this movie is not what people think it is.
Facts.
I just want to be clear with that. And I let people know, and I have someone who, she said she tried to watch it 4 times, but she didn't understand it. And then when I explained something to her, she went back on the strength of me. She went back and she loved the movie. She thought it was something, but when I explained no, and then she was like, okay. When I took off her glasses and put on some other glasses, she was like, she saw stuff that she wouldn't have seen before. And that's what it's all about. So I'm telling people, and I'm telling everybody, it's not what you think it is. Now, understand that, and this is, we're going to get into the movie, is that when Black filmmakers are making movies about us, you notice there are 2 categories they go into. It's either comedy or horror.
Yeah.
See, drama they've been going into the past 10 to 15 years. Drama is hard to get into.
Absolutely.
Comedy and horror are two categories that they can get into. But the thing about this is when you have conscious filmmakers, they have to hide messages behind comedy and behind horror.
Yeah.
So now it takes people like us and people who understand to look through that and go like, wait a minute, hold on. This is not about horror. This is not about comedy.
Not at all.
You're right. They're dropping things that if you are not aware in the Black community, you would not pick it up. You would not pick it up at all. So now you're looking at this. So I'm telling people, this is not about vampires. No, it's not. It's not a horror at all.
Not at all.
And then when you sit down and you tell them, did you see this part? They're like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't see that. Yeah, because you're looking at the stuff. Because remember, what these guys in Hollywood have to do is to get their message across, they have to hide it, they have to conceal it. And that's what they're doing. And it's funny because, again, you look at a movie, okay, Ryan Coogler again, you look at Black Panther. Okay, there is no Black Panther character in the world, but there were a lot of hidden messages in Black Panther. If you look at the story, there's a scene with the Black Panther at the club. There's a scene at the club. There's a Okoye, Black Panther, and I forget the other young lady. But you see them coming down the steps. But if you look at the colors that they were wearing, one had on red.
Yeah.
Black Panther had on black. One had on green. No, green. Right. So what is that? Red, black, and green. See, all of these things, again, if you don't know this, if you don't see it, you're like, oh my gosh, I missed that. And that's why you have people like us who have these platforms to be like, did you see this? Did you see that? What does this mean? Okay, so now we're breaking it down so that people can look at it again and go like, this is not, there's some deep stuff going on here. And I can tell you that when I saw it the first time, the first 5 minutes, I was done. I was in. And I'm going to share that with you. So we'll talk about that. So I just want people to understand that this is not about horror. And you have a lot of people going online talking about anti-Christianity and all this and all that.
It has nothing to do with that.
What are you doing? Now, here's the thing. Oh, I can get into that.
Yeah.
I can get into that because I will show you some stuff and be like, okay, well, now you got it. Now you understand. But I'm going to talk about a couple of things and we'll hash on that. But I just want everyone to know that, everyone understand that this is not about what they think it is. So yeah, for now. All right. So I see my nephew on the West Coast Dre's online. So I want to give a shout out to him. So yeah. So yeah. So yeah, he said he loved it. I got my brother, Mr. Smith online. So yeah, a lot of people are coming in. So these are people who understand. We talk about it. So all right. So now let's get into it. Go ahead. So go ahead. I just want to lay the groundwork so people can understand that. Get out of yourself. Stop seeing it the way you see it, and look at it through a different person's lens. Because now you can learn something from that. Got it? Okay. So go ahead, Rich. Go ahead, Rich. Because I got a bunch of notes. Go ahead, Rich.
Well, do you think? Matter of fact, I'm not going to go in order, but I will say, during when they had when they were drinking in the club, when they were
you way out of order. Sorry, can we start from the beginning, please? Can we start from the beginning? You can't skip all of that stuff that went down. You can't.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You gotta bring it back, way back.
If anybody have any questions, text your question into the chat. Right. But go ahead.
Okay. So we're gonna go back from the beginning. Go ahead, Xavier.
Let's start from the beginning. When they really started, what was the first thing? The first thing I can remember at this moment in time. Music.
Okay, the very beginning.
That's what I was about to say.
Go ahead.
I was about to say when he walked into the church with the whole guitar, whole thing. My mind went to way back when they was, my mind already went to.
Wait. You went too far. You went too
Wait,
far.
no, I'm talking about the beginning. Which one you talking about?
You went too far. We're going back to when it comes on. The artwork, the stories about the three groups of people. The Irish, got it? Remember the artwork, the Irish, okay, the African, right?
Yeah.
Got it? And the Indians, the Choctaw. Got it? At the very beginning. When you look at that, that's all. Remember the antagonist was Irish. Got it? He was Irish. So now let's look at that. So what they're saying is that there were groups of people they were seers. They were seers. They were able to see things that other people didn't see. And they used music.
Yes.
Remember, they call it the Choctaw, the Irish.
Mm-hmm.
They call it Fila, F-I-L-A in Irish. And if you look at that, they were the seers. They were the poets. They were the ones who understood. They saw things that other people didn't see. So there's a connection between the three of us. Now, and the reason why I got kind of messed up because at the very beginning, my great grandmother is Irish. This is true. So that perked my interest. And then Choctaw, my family line on my mother's side are Choctaw. So I'm like, wait a minute. And then you got the griots. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? So even before the movie started, I'm like, my mind is popping, percolating. So there's a relationship, and a lot of people don't know that in New York in the olden days, Irish people, Chinatown was black. Okay, Irish people came over here and they stayed with the black community in the black ghettos. See, there's a connection. See, they forget these things. So now what we're looking at, and I'm going to talk about some stuff a little bit later, but what we're looking at, what they're trying to say is that there's a connection between all of us. Okay, and it's the music. But what they were saying is those seers, the ones who were able to open those portals, evil would come looking also. You see that? So that's the very, very beginning. And then what happens when that whole animation scene ends? What happens is you see Sammie, right, coming in the car from the night before. So understand what happens is as African people, we are circular people. We're not linear.
Yeah.
And that's true. So what he did was he showed he showed the end. And then he went back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So what happens when he comes in, he has the piece of the guitar. He comes into the church. And if you notice the church, there were triangles. There were pyramids on the church.
Yes.
Okay. That's deep. And when he comes through the door, all the parishioners are wearing white.
Yep.
His father's wearing what? Black. So what does that tell you? See, all this stuff is meaning something. And there was a deep part because what happens is when he goes to hug his father, there's a quick flash scene of the antagonist in the same pose that was going to hug him. It happens real quick. Got it? So it's like it's the same pose, but one's the father and one's the antagonist. Okay, we got to look into what's going on here. And when he turns around, he looks at all the parishioners in white, and then you see a quick flash of all the antagonists, right? So it's like, wait a minute, are they the same? Is this the same thing? Is this, what's happening here? And then the father, what does his father say? The father says, you know what, you got to put that thing down.
Yeah.
Promise when you get it down. But wait a minute, hold on. Why do you want me to put this down? Because see, what are you trying to say? Because what's happening now is like, this is the thing that connects us, the past, the present, and the future.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll talk about that. But this,
I didn't think about it like that, but that's true.
I think about that like that either.
Right. Why do you want me to give this thing up?
Right.
And take something else.
That's our history, and they trying to just take the history from us.
Why do you want us to give this and take up and give us something that doesn't work for us?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So all of this is going on. So it's like, hey, what's happening here? Because see, there's a thing when he sang, when Sammie sang, it was okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, because remember, because the next scene is the day life of on the plantation, and he was singing, but nothing was moving. But when he played the guitar, right, and when he sang, it was something totally different.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my gosh. And that's indicative because when he was in the car with
his uncle,
with Smoke,
and
Smoke told him play it, did you see the look on his face?
Yeah.
Smoke was like, what the? His face was like, oh my, because he knew. He was like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
So all of that is indicative. So I'm going, and this is all in the beginning. Okay, so so now that's just the first 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes.
Yeah, right. I think it was like 10, 15, something like that.
What do you think about? What do you think about the characters of the twins, Smoke and Stack? Like, remember, Smoke had blue, Stack had red, because it can be a representation like Smoke is
Don't tell you about to say Crip and Blood.
Right, and they're just
no.
That could be a but
I don't think so. I don't think that got nothing to do with it.
No.
Well, right, that, and then I think the snake has when the snake came out, that was also, I think, a subliminal message too.
Okay, we can talk about that.
Right.
No,
but wait.
But you got to
finish back for where you was at, because you jumped
the twins.
You jumped to the twins. You gotta go. We gotta go back to what Charles was saying first.
Okay.
Because you jumped to the twins.
Now remember this. The scene with Smoke, the colors mean something. Smoke was calm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I would say loyal, tradition, masculinity.
Very not masculine.
Not masculine. That was other.
Okay. No, they're both masculine. Okay.
Got it.
But I like loyal because what did he do? He went back to his woman.
Yeah, he did.
He was loyal.
He definitely did.
Yeah. So that was like, he was like, okay. But Stack was the reckless one.
Crime.
He was hot.
Yeah.
He was hot.
Mob life. Comfort versus liberation.
Right. He was right. He was Smoke. Okay. Stack, I call him Red Hat. Red Hat, when you want to hang out and party, you hang out with Red Hat.
Right.
Because you're going to have a good time. You might not get home. You might not get home, but you're going to have the time of your life. Right. Yeah. And we all got friends like that. But let's look at this. Remember the old cartoons with the good one and the bad one on the shoulder?
Yes.
That's what I looked at. So it's like the good one and the bad one. So they're the same. They're the same person.
Yeah.
They're the same person. It's just two different types of personality. But what you talk about the snake, what I like about that was, if you look at that whole scene, and this is all, we don't want to say that we are the ones who have total understanding of this movie. This is just our interpretation, like you said at the beginning. But if you watch, what happens is that whole scene, what does Smoke do? Smoke picked up his knife and he threw it to his brother. And his brother stabbed the snake.
But his brother can handle it more than he can.
Got it.
As far as violence goes.
Which is fine. But again, remember, they worked in unison together.
Yeah.
They were, because he just threw the knife. It was so smooth. It was like, and then he threw it back to him. And it, like you said, it's the working. He was more the aggressive one, the hot one, which is fine. He was the one to jump into the fire, where Smoke was like, hold on.
Let's think about this for a moment.
Right. But remember, they're all the same person.
Yeah.
And remember, that's us.
Yeah.
That's us. When do we rely on the fire? When do we rely on the coolness? See, this is the battle that we have within ourselves. You see? And it's amazing that he had the same person playing the same role. Because it's like, wait a minute, that's just us.
Yeah.
Got it. So go ahead. I don't want to take over the whole, but go ahead.
Oh no, we got it with the snake. We got it with the snake.
Yeah, got it with the snake, right? Right.
What's next?
Okay. So that's when they went to they purchased the building from the guy.
Yes.
The whole thing right there. Hold on.
Go ahead.
The juke joint. The juke joint.
Yo, right there, automatically it said it to me because I don't remember. I can't remember which one it was, which brother, but he was like, I bet not catch you on my land. We bought it. I bet not catch you here with your peoples. Right. And I was like, yo, at that time, I was like, that means something. I don't know what it is. Later in the movie, I found out. And I was like, yup, he already knew that they was coming back. He knew they was going to come back.
Because of the vampire.
He knew there was something going on.
No, they weren't. Nope, not they were Klansmen.
Yeah, yes. I know they were clans.
They were Klansmen. Got it? So he knew that. We didn't, because remember he said the Klansmen are not around here anymore. He was lying.
We already knew that though. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. Not that I knew it, I assumed that.
Right. Got it.
I assumed that.
Right. So go ahead, Charles.
No, it proved this point later in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, proved this point.
Right. I think the juke joint, when he bought the juke joint, it represents Black economic independence.
Okay, got it. Understand. That's a good point.
And I think it was a safe space for Black people.
Yeah, got it. But that's what history is. That's what it was always in history. That's what we always had. We had some. How do I say it? Because my mind, right, looking at history and thinking about other movies we've seen, it goes, okay, they got the juke joint, like he said, that's their safe space. That's their place to go do what they do. You know what I mean? And be yourself, be you. And smash yourself. You know what I mean? So that's what that was for me automatically.
Very good point. And you notice every time we have that, they don't want us to have it.
That's true.
Right. That goes back to when they bombed, what is it, Black Wall Street.
Correct.
But remember, they always said, anytime we seen it, heard about it or anything, oh, that's the devil. Oh, that's no good. Why you going there?
Right.
It's always something negative against having a juke joint or whatever it is.
Right.
It's always something negative against it, no matter where you see it.
What happens in the juke joint might not be positive, but it's still the same. It's still the same. It's still the same thing. So I was looking at when he touched the floor, and he asked him, did you wash the floor? I was like, what happened? What happened for him to make that statement? Like, what was going on at that place? Again, it's like, okay, what was going on? Was there energy there that was like, you know what, something happened here. We all went somewhere and we were like, something happened here. I don't know what it was, but this don't feel right. You know what? I'm gonna have to leave. Yeah. So that's one of the things. Yeah, that's one of the things that again, it's the connection. And I don't know who did that. I don't know if it was Smoke, if it was Stack who did that. But that's something I'm going to look at. Yeah, that's some. Yeah. So and then what happens is Sammie goes to the church. This is right after he does his chores, and he goes and speaks to his father, and he sees the guitar, and he gets the guitar. But his father makes him read the Corinthians, whatever, something. It's about temptation and the whole thing, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So but the father says, I wrote it down. He says, you keep dancing with the devil, one day he's going to follow you home. How many times?
Yeah. That was hard.
Yeah. You keep dancing with the devil. It's like, how many times, and you heard stories about people out there doing stuff, and that stuff comes back to the house.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
And our parents told us, our grandparents told us, you need to stop doing that, because eventually somewhere that stuff is going to come home. And we've heard and we've seen stories about people being afflicted, or people being the bad end of somebody doing something stupid that they had nothing to do with, all because their family member was involved in something that, it's like, come on now, what's going on here? And that's what I think. And that's what you feel bad about that, because There are people who are innocent victims of something that a brother did or a sister did or a father or something. It's like because they were dancing with the devil for so long, shit came back on the house. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
and
Exactly.
that was key. So now people have to understand that. And yeah, so that was the key. But again, it happens, and it's sad to say it because people be out there doing dumb stuff and be like, okay, I was looking at something where something happened and I'm watching this video and oh, the girl, she pulls out the gun and she's shooting and she shoots her friend and somebody else, two innocent bystanders that had nothing to do with the situation. Again, that dumb stuff, people doing dumb stuff. Yeah, but okay. But indicative of the movie, he's showing things that happen to us every single day and throughout history. Yeah.
Right. So
Correct.
what's next is what do you think about moving forward, right? When Stack shot the people that robbed him, and then he was getting, people to get into the juke joint. When he was doing the invitation of Sammie and I forgot the other
that
guy.
sign was something for me.
Okay, but let's go back right before that.
Okay,
because that's indicative. But let's go back to the part with the girl,
when he put her in the car and was watching that.
The young girl. When he talked to her and he was like, I give you, was it a dime or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Negotiate.
And then he was coaching her. Yeah.
They see again, if you don't see that, here's a black man with a young black woman teaching her the value of who she is.
Yeah.
He could have cheated her, but he was like, nah,
he wasn't trying to do that.
Numbers in negotiation. And then when he was negotiating with her, he was teaching her, you're more than 10 cents a minute. You need to negotiate your value. Like I said, he could have cheated her.
We talked about that. Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's deep. And it's like, yo, and I was like, wow. But again, here we go again. They have to hide, black filmmakers have to hide these things. And if you know it, you can pick it up. But if you don't know it, it'll go right over your head.
Yep.
So that was key. So go ahead. So then he shot the two guys.
Wait, before they shot the two guys, I was telling him the biggest thing was, you see, he had to get a sign for the juke joint. He had to get flyers for it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, look at that. If you look, it's the teenager going between two businesses, which were Asian, the mother and the father who's running the businesses, going between the two businesses to get what he needed done. And he knew them for years, whatever. Then, as they was creating the sign, I'm looking at the sign. I'm like, okay, I don't know what it means, honestly. But I seen the sign. It's in red letters. And if you look at the sign, it looked like his blood dripping. And I was like, that means something. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
It might have been it's like a sign of what's about to come. That's what it could have been like. Okay, it's just about to come. But I'm going to give you something to look at, Xavier. Even before that, if you look, and I got a quote. I have a young sister. Her name is. She's not young. Her name is Paula. She turned me on today. She showed me to it. In that scene, if you look on one side, they're black people.
Yeah.
And on the other side, they're white people.
Yeah.
So if you know, and if you notice, but it's funny because on one side you got one car, but on the other side you got a whole bunch of cars.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? But the funny thing is, Xavier, to build on what you're saying is, what were the Koreans doing? They were conversing between back and forth. They didn't care. They were making business with They were making business with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just building on what you're saying, adding to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Notice that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but if you notice, when he shot the guys, but the thing was, they had a reputation.
Yeah.
Right, because remember what he said was, you can't tell the story of trying to rob us and not have something to show for it. we got to make sure that people know that you tried to rob us, and you paid for that. And you paid. But what did he do? He went inside and he told the shopkeeper, "Hey, listen, I just shot 2 guys.
Okay, you gonna pair them up?
Here's a doctor. Go get the." And again, here we go. Like, it wasn't malice. It wasn't malice. It wasn't.
But he made sure that everybody know. As you was going, making sure that everybody know who I.
Right.
You know who I am.
Right.
I do this. Don't cross me. Right. Don't play with me.
But the funny thing is, when the brother looked at him, he was like, "Yo," he was like, "What? Stack?" He was like, "Yeah."
Like, he was surprised. He was like, "Oh, I didn't know."
Yeah, we thought you was up in Chicago. Yeah, we thought you was up in Chicago.
Like, exactly. We didn't know you was back down here.
Yeah, that's it. But that was the cool part. So right after that, you got that, and then well, okay. So, but the funny thing to me was, again, the deals that he was making. Actually, that was Smoke who did it. The deals that they were making with the Koreans, like, no, I'm not going to settle for that. We're gonna negotiate.
Yeah, they always negotiate. He was not playing with that negotiation.
Yeah, we're gonna negotiate. But again, here we go. The skill of negotiate. That's who we are. We negotiate prices. We do things like that. Just because and you've heard me say this before. What's the difference between price and value? What's the difference between price and value? Value is what you think it costs. Price is what you pay for. You can tell me that it's going to be $50, but I'm like, I don't value that much. Okay, well, I'll give you $25. I'm going to pay for it for $25. I'm not going to pay $50. And that's part of the art of negotiation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next thing wasn't the next step the train station when he was getting the guy to want to sing for him? He's like, "Oh, you're not gonna pay me that much. You're not gonna do this." He start throwing in beer and all this other stuff on top of the price he talking. He's like, "You only gonna be open for one night."
So what Stack was doing was, the next scene was Stack and Sammie in the car. You're absolutely right. Going to the train station. But right, that's that scene right before where Stack, if you listen to it, if as soon as the scene comes on, Stack is talking to Sammie about going down on a woman.
Yes.
Listen to it. Okay. And I just caught it today because I was like, wait a minute. So later on in the movie, when Sammie was in the room with the girl, what did he do? You see? Because what happened was Stack told him what to do and how to do it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just saw that today. I said, oh, okay. And then they talked about their fathers, right? And then, did you kill my father? Well, they talked about that. But then they talked about up in Chicago and the whole thing. So then Stack is like, you know what? Play that guitar.
But that's the thing with that. Listening to that part about the fathers, I feel like that's why his father kind of felt the way he felt with the whole music.
Right.
And they already, I don't remember, I don't want to get too far ahead, but I think this was part of it when he was talking about how they felt with school and stuff, because his father was so bad, they thought they were going to be bad too.
Right.
And all of that. And I was like, that's why, because that's his father's guitar, his uncle's guitar, and his father's just like.
But remember, how did they find the guitar? They won it in a card game.
See, I forgot that part.
They won it in a card game.
Got that part too. That's crazy. Wow.
So, and I have to check to see if the fathers won it in the card game. Okay, that I have to take a look at. So yeah, but yeah, you're absolutely right. So there's something that was going on with the fathers that they didn't share, that we probably won't ever know, but that's fine.
But Sammie's father, basically in his head, it's like he changed his life from that. But his brother didn't. He kept going the way he was going.
Good point.
But his father wanted him to get rid of the guitar, get rid of the music. And Sammie was like, no.
Because of what happened with the uncle.
Okay.
I would assume it's because of what went down with the uncle. He feel like, you know what, this is just, you gotta let it go.
Okay. But now let's go back to the very, very beginning. the animation part. Remember, they're seers, they're storytellers.
Yeah.
So it was like maybe Sammie was like, because no, you know what? If you go to the end, you know, at the very end, Sammie said that was the best night of my life. That night at the juke joint, in the juke joint, was the best night of my life. So it's like you have these tools that you know they're yours, and nobody can take those from you.
Smith just said, but didn't Stack lie about the guitar?
We don't know. We don't know. That's a good point.
That is a good point.
That's a good point. We don't know.
That definitely is a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
definitely is.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't know.
And the guitar was powerful throughout the whole movie. I can say that.
Was.
Okay. So let's talk about the guitar. Okay.
Did you look at the guitar though?
Yeah, I looked at it.
Did you really pay attention to? Because I was trying to pay attention to it, and I'm like, why would it have a metal plate on it?
Okay,
and
that's a good
point. I was trying to really get into the detail, but I got to watch it again for me to do that even more.
That's a good point. Now, the guitar supposedly belonged to the famous blues guy called Charlie Patton.
Right.
Yes.
Charlie. And the thing I like about movies, especially like this, is when they make me take notes and they make me research. And it's like Charlie Patton is considered the father of the blues.
Okay.
Also, he's considered the father. He was I looked it up, and he was born in 1891. In May of 2021, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay, in 2021. So Charlie Patton, father of the blues. But it's the relevance of, remember, the blues is the precursor to rock and roll. You know,
yes,
all of this stuff. So, but remember, what is the blues? The blues is our music. The blues is blood, sweat, and tears coming out in song. The blues is love coming out in song. Blues is hurt coming out in song.
Right.
So when Stack said, "Hey, play that guitar," he started playing the guitar. And
what scene are you talking about? While they was in the car?
When they were in the car. It was just the two of them. When Stack look at the way Stack looked at him, like, whoa.
He looked at him like it was money, 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 money. We can make some money off of this. That's what I got from that.
That's a good point. I looked at it as okay. You ever been hurt before? Okay.
He's feeling all of that too.
Okay. Right. And when you hear that one song that takes you and it breaks you down, there's always and it's like that one song that, because it was either somebody you were with at the time and that song was the song, and when you hear it now, it's like it takes you. That's what I got from that.
Yeah.
Xavier, I love what you just said, because now I'm gonna rethink that. But when I looked at it, I was like, he was like, but like you said, now that made me think, he because it was Stack.
Because the first thing, he was already in the mindset of, I'm opening this spot. We're gonna make some money from this. That's why my mind went straight to money.
Right, got it. Makes a good point. So now I like that better than what I thought. Because it makes sense. It makes total sense. So so that was good. So that was a good point. So what we're looking at is, it's like, you don't know what we are about to do.
Oh, right.
You don't know what we're about to do, and it's like, oh my gosh. So that's the good part.
What about like when the guitar is like a devil in disguise, right? So you have Sammie's preacher father, and then you have, I just realized his name, Remick, the vampire, right?
Okay.
They both represent a deal. Join the devil or join, the spirit.
Religion.
Join religion, the spirit. But then the father wanted him to lose the guitar. and join his religion. That's what I got from it. And the guitar had powers. The song, and that goes back to us, right? For us, we have like music has powers.
Sir, we didn't even get to that part yet. We didn't even get there yet.
Music has powers.
Rich, but we didn't even get there yet. We didn't even get there yet. There's a whole lot that go with that. We didn't even get there yet.
Now,
the guitar explains but that tells you that music gets you. It's an art.
But
that gets you that music is art.
Wait. You talking that, but we haven't even gotten to that step yet. Well, we talking all of that yet. We didn't even get there yet. You gotta back it up a little bit.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Go ahead, Xavier. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because I just feel like before we jump there, there's a lot of other things that need to be talked about before you get to that point. Okay. Just saying.
Because see,
you got a whole lot going on here.
So what I'm going to do is, when you talk about music,
yes.
Okay, I want you to think about sound.
Okay. Right.
So you say music has power. No, okay, sound has power. Vibration. Sound is vibration.
Yes.
Right. So understand the vibration has the power. Got it?
Because it makes you move.
I want you to think a little bit higher than that.
I know.
Just because see, it depends on which sound makes you move and which sound does things to you.
True.
It's not. Right. It is music, but it's actually sound.
Yeah.
So when you've ever heard a screeching sound, what does it do to your body? Yeah.
Make you cringe.
That's
you don't want to hear it.
But remember, they got some of that screeching sound in some music.
Yes.
So it's like if that makes you cringe, what happens to somebody who listens to that on a consistent basis? Like what the,
what is they doing?
Yeah, got it. What are they doing? And then you add on pharmaceutical stuff, and then oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But
so someone said
after we, what was it? Okay, what you was about to say, Rich? Somebody said
someone
what?
Says a guitar represents spirituality. The father represented religion.
Good point.
Okay,
that's a good point.
That's Big Daddy's good point.
Yeah.
But again, we talk about at the beginning was when the father was like, put it down, son, put it down. And it's like, wait a minute, this is who we are. This is what we have.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Why do you want me to put this down? And that's indicative when he played it in the club. You saw what happened.
But that's making him, I guess you would say, unique. This is what I am. This is me being able to be me, if that makes sense.
Because again, what we have to do also look at us. Some of us have a calling.
Yeah.
And that was his calling.
Yeah.
Because remember, he never gave it up.
Not at all. But see, with the father is telling him, it's not like he could play the guitar in the church. It's either it's me or the church or the guitar. You get it?
Good point.
So it's like you got to choose between the two. And why should I have to choose if I like music and he sings it? He sings the music. Why couldn't play there with the music?
Well, that's a very good point. But I would look at part of that. Maybe it's control.
Yeah, I've thought about that too.
See, we can control this, but when you open up those portals, we can't control that.
Yeah.
We can't control that. Something might happen. Which something did. Yeah. Yes.
So now, what was the next step when they started having people show up? Right.
No. The next scene was after that, because remember that's when they went to the train. The train station.
Yeah. That whole thing was funny.
Wait. What about between Stack and the white woman?
Okay,
that's what we about to talk right now.
We're transitioning into that.
So that was crazy because he wasn't even trying to pay her no mind in any way. And back then, you shouldn't be paying it. You shouldn't be entertaining them. All in all, you shouldn't be entertaining them. But she was coming for him. She was like, you just left me hanging, telling me you coming back. Like what happened?
Well,
My mom
okay,
passed this,
okay.
that.
But the funny thing, okay, since we missed this section, we missed this section, which is fine. The
Her name was Isabel, by the way.
Yeah.
What the white chick?
Yeah, Isabel.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was her name? I
Yeah.
thought
Yes.
I
Think
thought her
so.
name, no, I thought
No.
her name wasn't Anna. No. What was her name?
You sure it wasn't Isabel? It wasn't.
Wait, let me
You
see.
sure it's Isabel?
I don't think
Let me double check. Hold on, let me double check.
No, it wasn't. It was Anna.
Hold on, let me double check. Let me double check.
Where you get Isabel from? What made you say Isabel? So I don't think it was Isabel.
It was Anna.
Let me double check. Let me double check.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
No. Anna is the black woman, I believe.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, Annie's the black woman.
Okay, Anna's the black woman. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Mary. Her name is Mary.
Okay.
Okay.
Her name is Mary. Okay, and that's deep. That's deep. But okay, because all right. So now okay, they go to and
just the name itself was deep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now you got the pitch. He was talking to the brother. I forget his name. But that whole play. One of the things that's real deep is, and I wanted to mention this before. We have a way of, because right at the scene with the truck and the snake, there was a dialogue between the two brothers. Was condescending. Was like,
I don't remember what it was saying, what they was talking about.
Well, it was a little condescending, but then at the end of that dialogue, they hugged each other. I love you, brother. I love you, brother.
Yes.
Like, and that's the same thing that happened at the train wreck, where the young guy and the old guy, they were condescending. They were, negating each other. That's what we do. And it's not out of hate. That's what we do. And then at the end, we love each other. Like,
and we still there with each other, no matter what.
Real talk. But see, we can do that, but nobody else can do that.
Exactly.
Nobody else could do that. And that's what was going on. Because the brother was like, what do you know about the blues? You don't know nothing about the blues. And then he went to play, and Stack was like, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, don't do that. Don't do that here, because we want people to come down to the Juke. Yeah. And that all
listen to you. Yeah.
Right, that whole dialogue happened. And then what happened was, you saw Mary in the background, and she was looking. And Sammie was like, yo, Stack, that white woman over there looking at you. And that's what, like you said, Xavier, that's what he was trying to ignore her. Like,
but I
because she was getting on the train.
Yeah.
Right. She was leaving. And then she says, like, oh my gosh.
I gotta turn back around and come talk to him. We gonna get at this. But then moving on, like, that was a whole thing within itself between him, Stack, and Mary. But then the next part with, I forgot what's her name. I don't remember her name. The black girl.
Anna.
She's telling Sammie, that's her name, Anna.
Which one are you talking about?
No, the slim one at the train station.
Mary, the white girl?
No,
her name is Mary.
The black girl.
Oh, the other.
The black girl, the one that told Sammie. Sammie was like, oh, we doing this. You should come out. She was like, oh, I'm married.
Uh-huh.
And then he was like, oh, well, I still hope to see you there.
Her name is
whatever.
Her name is Pearline.
Pearline, okay.
Pearline, yeah.
But I still felt like that was kind of weird of what she did at that scene. I was like, okay. But then later in the movie, I kind of like went back and I was like, she was out of line. I'm just gonna say that right at the moment. I think she was out of line.
She was out of line. But what if she wasn't married? I don't know.
That's the whole thing. I feel like in a way she could have said that just to kind of see where he was at.
Yeah.
What he was gonna say.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like, I'm gonna say this just because I don't really want to be bothered with you, but I kind of want to be bothered with you in a way. That makes
sense. I want to go back and see if she had a ring on.
Yeah,
that's what I want. That's what I want to do. Because if she didn't have a ring on,
I don't remember. No, she didn't. She didn't. I don't think she did.
You got it. Because see, I personally don't want to put her in a bad light. I don't want to.
Yeah.
And if she has a ring, okay, she was mad. But if she doesn't, I'm looking at the good. I don't want to put her in the negative.
In my head, I would think you say that because when I was looking, I don't think she had a ring on. I felt like you was flirting a little bit, but you was like, nah, I gotta kind of fill out the conversation. You know, I'm not trying to put her in a bad light. It's more so I gotta see how he fit, like what he's saying a little bit, and decide on that. But let me tell him this to see what he gonna say anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. But later in the movie, I'm like, there's no way. I don't feel like with what went down that she would have really been in the marriage and would be willing to do what she did. Honestly.
Right. Good. That's a good point. There's a depth to that character that we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. And remember back then, young ladies got married at what age? 12, 13, 14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she may have been like locked up, and then she gets to the club and she can cut loose. Like her, but that's a good thing. That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so now here we go. And what was Stack saying? Like Stack was like, get on the train. He was like, get on the train, leave. He was like, leave. Like, you ain't supposed to be here.
Go. We don't need to do this. We don't need to.
There's a phrase in the Black community when men get in trouble, we say fucking with that white woman. Like it was like, no, what happened? And sure enough, it was like, there you go. What happened?
But did find out what it was later. I was like, hey, it wasn't that bad of a deal.
Okay, but so now here's what happens, right? When she was like, my mother's dead and blah 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 blah. Yeah. The key point that I took from that was she was like, you didn't send flowers. He said, yes, we did. We sent it when she was alive. Like wow,
That's
hey,
right there.
Hey, you know what? She
need her flowers when she here, not later.
Not bingo. You see that key point? Like, yo, why are we sending flowers when you're dead? I can't see you. Okay, send them when you're that was the key point because okay, cool. And she was all
flowers, but remember, I don't want to jump there yet. But sending flowers and just showing your appreciation of the person as they're here.
Right, got it.
But we'll get into that. We'll circle back on that a little later. Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, so I mean that was key. So they recruit the brother and the whole thing, and which is fine because he was an alcoholic because he drank all his money.
Yeah,
he was an alcoholic, but the brother was good though. He was good at what he did.
He was able to do some music. I'll tell you that.
Slide. What's his name?
I don't even remember.
Slide. Something Slide. Yes, because he played the harmonica.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You over to you. Pretty quiet, Rich. What happened?
Let's go. Can we go to?
He's ready to jump to the good juicy stuff.
No, Rich,
we ain't there yet. So I need him to wait.
Rich jumped to the end.
Can we get to the guys in the jail suits that represent?
Can you wait on that? We getting there. We getting in now, Rich. We getting in now. Okay. Remember, they gotta leave the train station and they on their way to the barn. That's when that happens. Remember that.
So So, and there's this scene where in the car when they're passing. Now, if you know anything about that particular scene, if you remember, they're down in Mississippi, right? Was it Mississippi?
Right.
Now,
yes.
Do you remember the Stephen King movie, Shawshank Redemption?
I think so.
That was that.
Yeah.
Where brothers were getting arrested. We're talking about the industrial age. Roads were being built. railroads were being placed,
Yeah.
buildings were being built. And down in Mississippi, one of the things that they were doing was they were arresting brothers for nothing. And they were using them for work.
But then, remember, Juke was like, when they was in the car, what's his name? You said Sly or whatever. When they was in the car,
Slim.
he said,
Slim is Delta Slim was his name, yeah.
He said, they was like, you know them? Because, you know, they started talking with him.
Right.
He was like, yeah, I used to. I know all of them.
Right.
He was there.
Right. He was there.
And usually, think about it, dang near every South movie you see in something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of them, that's what you see.
Yeah. Again, how have things changed that much?
Not really.
Yeah.
Honestly.
How things, you know, yeah. How different are things now compared to before?
Listen, we still slaves to a certain degree. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's it.
It may not be in that manner, but it's in other manners. And we still doing the same thing. It's just being done differently.
Right. But remember, Slim was like, hold your head up. And then after that, one guy interacted with him and said, yo, Slim, and then the gunshot.
Yeah.
Right.
Because what they was always doing, you step out of line, it's gun shooting, dogs chasing you.
Right.
Yep.
Come on.
Right. So next comes the scene, if I can recall, where I'm reading it, where that's when Remick is introduced. Right.
Oh, with the Native Americans.
Remick is introduced.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
not Native.
When he went to the house, when he ran up to the house.
Now, when he was running? What was happening? The sun was out. What was happening?
The sun was beaming on him, and it was smoke. And all
he was smoking. He was smoking, right? So now, because at first I thought it was just dust. Because remember, the first time I saw it, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, I knew something was off.
I thought it was just I thought it was just dusk, you know. But then he goes to the house and he's like, "Hey, you know what? Blah 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 blah." And, you know, and so the kid let him in. Blah blah blah. Okay.
But see that scene right there when he ran up to that house, I feel like he didn't know what he was going to say to them. But until he seen the uniform for the Ku Klux Klan, he already knew what to say. Or if he knew what to say.
Got it.
And then the Indians came.
The Choctaw came.
The natives.
And they said they were going to help them. But then when they saw the same thing, they were like, nah, go right ahead.
Yeah.
You remember they saw the same outfit. Yeah. They were like, no. They were not, no, you good. We leaving. You get what you get.
T. Whitty said he flew to the house. Now, mind you, right? So I think the natives represents ancestral power and spiritual justice, because you see how they was very powerful during that time. And it was sunny out, right?
Okay.
It was sunny out, and then Remick really, I think, isn't just a vampire. He's more about like colonizer. He's a colonizer.
Okay.
Yes. So he's not just a vampire. He's a colonizer.
Okay.
Yep.
Now there's so not to get too political, but now go back to the beginning again, because I'm going to tell you guys something that I'm looking at. Let's go back to the beginning. There were 3 groups of people in the animation. It was the Irish, the Choctaw, and the African, the Griot.
Yep.
Now, the Choctaw knew who he was. Okay, they knew who he was. And they were going after him because they had to get him.
Yep.
So, but when they saw what was going on, they were like, nah, you know, these, you know, because sometimes you tell people stuff and they don't listen. Sometimes people need what they deserve what they get. It's like, you know what? Let's go right ahead. Because we
already knew what was going to happen.
We already know what's going to happen to you.
It was like, whatever. Right, okay.
Yeah, go right ahead. Yeah.
And then as soon as she walked in, she's like, oh, I got the door. Walked in.
Yeah.
She called her. Don't see him.
Right.
There he go. Situation done.
But that's when you introduce the now. Now I'm gonna save this for later, because when I looked at it again, Remick wasn't evil.
He wasn't evil.
He wasn't evil? Nah,
No.
I disagree with.
I don't know about that. We gotta talk about that.
I disagree with you.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
I disagree.
him right there. What?
We'll talk
That
about
was
it
a
later.
vampire, the colonizer.
Okay.
That was a listen.
Okay. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in part 2.
Okay.
And I'm not asking you to agree with me, but I'm going to
see it.
I'm going to state my case.
Yeah.
And Remick represents capitalism.
Okay. I got you. I'm going to state my case. I'm not asking you to agree. I'm not asking you to accept. But I'm going to state my case.
Okay.
Because when I looked at it, I was like, oh shit. Now remember, this is just my interpretation, my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Because when I saw it, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Okay. Because Remick was trying to do something. Yeah, but okay. But yeah.
All right.
All right.
I was later at the Juke joint when he flies. He felt comfortable. He felt comfortable to bond with them once he saw the KKK outfits.
Yes.
Exactly.
We talked about that. We just said that.
Remick, hold on. Remick is a culture vulture.
Okay. All right.
This is why shout T Witty 1.
Okay. Yeah.
He's saying some shit right now.
That's Big Thaddeus. That's Big Thaddeus. You guys met Thaddeus before.
Remick is a culture vulture. He is. Yeah. I agree with him.
Okay. We'll discuss that later. Okay. We'll discuss that. Okay. But again, this is why it's important that these movies that we watch that are indicative, that we have to have a conversation, because it's like, because I was talking to a few people and they were telling me things that I missed, that I had to go back. And I said, oh shit, I didn't even, because there was so much going on.
Yeah, but a lot of these, it was so much going on. But a lot of these movies, you gotta watch it multiple times. And what's crazy is, if you think about it, when we were younger, we was kids, we had the cassette tapes and all this stuff. And how many times did we watch movies over and over again?
Right.
Multiple times. But now that we got Netflix and all this stuff, we don't do that as much. And then for me, I looked at stuff back then. I didn't notice any of this stuff. Now I watch it as an adult. Right. You got so many hidden messages in these shows or these movies. It's crazy.
I was with my aunt, and we were watching Claudine last night. And I've never seen Claudine like that before. When I looked at it, I was like, wow. I was like, wow. Like, wow, this is a deep movie. It's a deep movie. But what I find is that I go back and watch older stuff, and I see things like that you didn't see when you were a child. It's like watching cartoons. It's like watching cartoons. Yes. You're like, I'm like, I didn't see that when I was a child. Like, wait a minute, what is going on here? It's like, okay, you think about, Roger Rabbit. If you ever saw Roger Rabbit, I remember seeing Roger Rabbit, and all the adult men, when the wife, the girl friend came or whatever, when she came, all the men were like, you could hear it in the movie theater, like, what? It's like, wait a minute. But if you're a child, you don't see these things.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So,
all right. So the next step is
after that was, remember, after when he bit the two white, the two folks that were Klux Klan members to join him. Remember, he only bit them so he can join them, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So then it comes through, once Remick taints you, he sees all your thoughts and past experience.
Right.
But that's later in the movie. Going too far. Later in the movie.
Okay, we missed the scene. We missed the scene.
That's what I'm saying. We missed the whole scene.
We missed
before
the scene
we get to that point.
When Stack went home. Stack went home, right?
Oh, remember, and then that's when he was with his girl and all that.
And
Smoke.
Smoke. Okay, sorry, Smoke.
It was smoke, yeah.
I saw the marker, but I didn't know who it was.
What you
He
mean?
brought remember he got the flowers, and he set the flowers on the grave. I didn't know who it was.
Oh,
At the beginning. That's why at the end I was like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, and that's when we talk about the loyalty and the faithfulness and all those things. When he went and the dialogue that they had was like,
because I didn't read what name was there to see. I didn't pay attention to the name.
I don't know if there was a name, but we know. But at the end, we know who it was.
Yes, we do.
Okay, at the end, but I didn't. I was like, oh my god.
We're gonna get to that point too, because that was.
Yeah.
Woo,
so what happens? So what happens is, she's like, you coming home, blah blah blah, and she's like, and she's like, I see you still wearing it.
Yeah.
Like, I never took it off. The whole thing, blah blah. And it's like, this didn't, it didn't protect our, and it was like the whole dialogue. It was like, it was deep because it was like, you don't know if it protected you, if you don't know if it didn't protect you.
But
your ass came home. You know what I'm saying? Your ass came home.
At first, I was kind of weirded out at first because I was trying to figure out. I was like, is that his mother? Like, he about to have intercourse with his mom's? I don't know why my mind went to that was his mother. But then later on, I realized, oh no, that was his girl the whole time.
Right. So I was like, oh my gosh. And the funny thing was the sex scene to me was not dirty. You know how you have scenes, and to me it wasn't dirty.
Yeah.
Like it was. How can I explain it? It was like, listen, it's been long. I miss you. One of those. If you got to have that type of understanding to see it.
I feel like it was more like a passionate kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just want to do this and
right. It was, to me, I mean, again, you got to be at a level to be like, this is more than just physical.
Yeah.
This is more than just physical act.
And it definitely was.
Yeah. And
definitely was.
So I was like, oh my gosh. And it was, and it's like, and the funny thing is, they were with the kids and the payment and all that stuff. He's like, why are you taking this money? You should be taking real money. And she was like, I don't need that. It was pretty deep. It was pretty deep how that went.
It was a clean passion. T. Witty won. Said that.
Yeah. So that was the good thing. And then they made the connection. I need you to come cook the fish and the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like, this is what I need from you.
We putting the band back together again.
Right.
We getting ready to tear it up. But that was key. All right. So next,
now the good part. The good parts.
All right, go ahead.
Now we up to the good part where he even jumping through, like he was trying to skip there. Now we're at the bar. We're at the juke joint. We at the bar.
So we're going. How long? Okay, first of all, how long are we going to be on tonight? That's what I want to know. How long are we going to be on?
We try to finish.
Okay,
we're going to try to finish.
We're going to try to finish.
This is the most important. This is the most important.
This is the deepest part of the whole movie.
Because mind you, after all of that, nothing has happened yet.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you see what I'm saying? After all of that, and I don't know how far we're into the movie, but nothing horrific has happened.
Not at all.
Other than the Remick character being introduced.
The juke joint is the most important one.
Okay.
The whole
because thing. That's the point where everything bounces off.
Yeah.
That's the point where everything bounces off. So go ahead, juke joint.
Hold on. What do you think the Asian represents?
There's always one of them up in there controlling the money, being part of the community.
It's always about the money.
Being part of the community, just thriving off the community. So, yeah. But remember, even they had a part in the juke joint.
Yeah.
Even their stuff was coming through.
Yeah.
Through the juke joint. Yeah. So yeah. So now you want to go to the juke joint? Go ahead.
Yes, this
Right,
is the
Rich. Go to the juke joint.
so this represents Black culture, dancing, food, freedom,
Okay.
safe space.
So
Okay.
after because like I think I forget which brother it was. Um, after all of that week of toil, we want to come somewhere and we want to have a good time.
Yes.
You know,
Right.
I've been in the field. I've been doing this. I've been called a boy. I've been called mammy, sassy, whatever. I want to come here and I want to let loose. I want to release. I want to
Right.
release all of that stuff.
Yes.
So this is like you said. This is safe space. This is where we're coming to. Okay, cool. So we got it. This is our safe space. We can come. We can eat. We can drink. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So this
And remember-
represents. Mhm.
Oh, remember when they was coming up with the money?
Mhm.
And they was like, there's the money, like cash money, and then you got
Right.
the slave money.
Right. Right.
And he didn't really want the slave money. He wanted more of the cash money.
Because the slave money didn't mean slave money.
It didn't have no value. The slave money didn't have no value.
It had value there.
Yeah.
But it didn't have. It's like the tokens. We talked about this. The NFTs. We talked about that. You know, Chuck E. Cheese's. You go, you buy the tokens. You leave Chuck E. Cheese's. It has no value. But inside Chuck E. Cheese, it has value.
It has all the value.
That money didn't have value. The slave money didn't have value. He was like, no, I done been to Chicago. We know what money is. This is money. Yeah. So, but then again, that was the fight. That was the fight because the two brothers, one was like, you know, we need to take it all.
Yeah.
And the other one was like, I don't want that. You know, that's not
the whole thing is they took it all. The money that's the slave money, they could have used that within there. Get whatever they got to do there.
Understandable. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's key because you know what do you value?
Yeah.
You know, you're going to turn down someone because they don't have the means of payment that you want, but they have a means of payment.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is something, yeah. But that's key.
And also the music represents not just music, it's a testimony, right? Now the deeper part is, and I'm gonna go to this. Remember when they was dancing? Right? When they was dancing, they represented all Black culture.
Rich, you just jumped over shit like
told
crazy.
You
Come on, man.
Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do, right? So
that's why I've been letting Charles navigate because you jumping.
So I'm gonna turn it over to Rich in a second. But here's what we're gonna do. Okay. So everybody comes. They're having this good time, the whole thing. And then what happens? They tell Sammie to get up there and play.
Yes.
Okay. So now this is the pinnacle point of the whole movie.
Yes.
This is the point when shit pops off.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So now if you don't understand this part, you don't understand the whole movie. So now.
I'll never let you speak.
Okay. So now Sammie gets up there. Sammie starts playing. Now remember what I told you. Don't think about music. Think about sound. Think about vibration.
Fast tracking.
You the one who jumped it.
People got to go to sleep. You're like, okay. So now here's what happened, right? So now Sammie's playing. Now remember at the beginning, they talked about seers. There were people who were able to play music, and things were happening when they played music. So now what happens is Sammie starts playing the music, right? And he starts singing. What was going on? As the camera is moving around the room.
And you have all the different what's the word? Cultures. All different type of cultures.
Those portals were opening up.
Yeah.
The portals were opening up. So what happened? So now you had the past, the present, and the future in the same space.
Yes.
And that's what they were saying. Right. That's what they were saying at the very beginning. Choctaw, the Fila, and the griots. They were able to do that. So now that music's, and now remember what I said about you ever been hurt before and you hear that song, what does it do? It transforms you back into that space that may have happened 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago. All of that is the connecting. And remember what you said, Xavier, was even the Koreans, their stuff
was in there. Through. So that's the whole thing. So
that is
what I noticed.
That's powerful.
It is. It was a couple of things I was noticing. While that was going on, I noticed, what's his name? Renwick, whatever his name is.
Right.
He was coming. He was coming.
Okay, because what he did, he heard it.
Yes, he heard it. So he was coming.
He heard it. He said, wait a minute. What's that?
Exactly.
See, Remick knew what that was. Remick was a Fila. Remick was a seer.
Yeah.
He was like Sammie. You got it?
Yeah.
Because he knew what that was. Because he heard the sound and that drew him to the place. He was like, oh my gosh. Because remember, hold your thought. Remember, there was a point in the movie where he was like, I let all of you guys go. I just want Sammie.
Yes, he did.
You see, because he knew, he was like, I don't care about nothing. I want, because he knew he was just like Sammie. He and Sammie were the same.
Yeah.
That's my point. That's my point.
But then, like, when we were to get into the room, I was looking at all the different, what's the word? Well, I can't think of it. I just said cultures and what was going on. And I'm looking at the specific type of dances and the different things that was going on. You got hip hop, you got R&B happening, you got the Korean stuff going on, you got all types of things happening. I'm like, yo, when you die, just looking at it, you looking at each individual thing. I'm like, yo. In my head at first I was looking at it, and it was like, it went to the devil stuff. So I'm like, so y'all really trying to sit here and say all the music and all the stuff we do is devilish? Like, that was the first thing I thought of.
Okay.
Then I'm looking at it again, and I'm like, no, we just creative beings. We're just very creative. We just got all these different things coming out. You understand? With the dancing and different, you know how to do different things.
I'm gonna need T Woody to come on in here.
I'm listening.
He said his voice set the roof on fire.
But remember,
heard and felt the energy that he needs to survive as a culture vulture.
Man, that was a whole other thing.
Come in the chat.
Remember I said they
only black culture as he was
barn on fire.
In the chat.
Like they set the barn on
fire.
The roof is on fire.
Put him up here.
We don't need no
Not
water.
Even the chat. Put him up here with us.
Come in here.
T Woody, let me know.
Give me your email so you can come on in here, man.
That's the
T
fact.
Woody, let me know. We'll put you in the room, T Woody. Okay.
Right now.
Let me know. I'll send you we'll get you in the room. But
right there.
Yeah, send him the link. Send him the link. Send him the link.
Right there.
So I don't know. T Woody, let me know if you. He's at work. He can't do it.
Okay.
Okay. So
my question: did Sammie understand what was happening, or just singing, or just playing?
Sammie didn't understand.
I feel like he didn't understand it.
He didn't understand. I don't think he didn't know how powerful it was. I don't think he understood it. I don't think he understood. He was still a novice. And that's dangerous. Yeah. That's dangerous when you have a skill and you haven't mastered it.
You don't know what it is.
Yeah. That's dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't know. So, but everybody else knew, but he didn't know. So it's like, oh my, that's the problem. So now,
that's the whole
thing. If Brian Coogler, if someone does not get an award for that scene alone, Hollywood is crazy because that scene, the choreography. I'm trying to figure out. They had to use a drone for that camera.
They did.
The way it moved around the room and the choreography. The choreography, whoever did that, I mean, the way everything flowed, I mean, it's just like everybody
They didn't
was
even know what was
point.
happening in the room. It looked like nobody was aware. Like it was just happening.
Now I can say this: I'm a house head to the day I die, and I don't know if anyone in the room has ever lifted before. You know what lifted means? Lifted is when your spirit lifts above.
Okay.
And you can
Yeah.
you can see. That's happened to me before. While I'm at, one thing about house music, they tell you dance like nobody's watching.
Yes.
And that's part of it. So healing, the healing factor. So I don't know, because I know house music has helped me get through some stuff when I wanted to choke somebody the fuck out. Let me go because I need to get some aggression out. So what happens is you lift, and that's what was going on. People were lifting.
Yeah.
And it was like they were getting out of themselves. But in the process of getting out of themselves, they were able to connect with the past, the present, and the future.
Yes.
And all of that was like, it was like, oh my, amazing. And so, and Remick saw that, and Remick knew what was going on inside of there. So it's like, Remick was like, I got to get in there. But remember, you can't get in there unless what?
Until they invite him in.
Unless you're invited. And it's like, you can't come up in here. Got it. So then what happens? What happens? There are a couple other things that happen.
They start singing.
Right.
Them songs.
Yep. Yep. So what happens after that? Who leaves the building?
Mary leaves the building.
Bingo.
Yo, did you see how they switched off that gun real quick?
What happened?
How they switched off that gun real quick with nobody really knowing that they switched off a gun. They did it so smoothly.
So go ahead.
All right. Wait. So before we even get to this part, it was a whole lot of things that went in between with Sammie and the girl in the room. Then it was
so Sammie remember the scene.
Okay, but remember, Mary knew Sammie.
No, but listen, that was before Mary went out. All that stuff happened before she went out.
Okay, but you're talking about when Sammie went down on the girl.
Yes.
Remember
so that happened.
That was because Stack told him. Remember, Stack and the girl told him. So it was like he wanted to. And he was like, I never did this before.
And I wouldn't think exactly. I wouldn't think. Like I said, we're gonna bring it back to the girl when we was at Tracy. I wouldn't think she would do that if she wasn't married. If she was actually married.
That's a good point.
Because he was like, "Oh, where's your man?" She was like, "Oh, he's home." But how likely is your man gonna be home at that time? At that time frame or whatnot? They wouldn't have been home. And you ain't married. You just said it to say it to him.
The hard part about that is, remember at the time, those homes were like one-room shacks.
Yeah.
I remember, so it's not like you had a room and they had a room. No, it was.
You could just sneak out like that.
You wasn't. Yeah, you could.
You wasn't just sneaking out like that. You was getting caught. So you had that going, right?
Right.
Then you had what else was happening? Mary and Stacks was going back and forth.
Right.
And remember, she was flowing the whole thing out. Oh, you taught me everything I know. I can beat everybody behind in here.
Yeah.
Then she was like, "Oh, so remember his mother passed. His mother passed, and her mother took him on.
Right.
But Mary had black in her too.
Correct. Yes.
It was like her father was black, but she don't look like it.
Yep. Correct.
So all this stuff go back where I was talking about the flowers. Give her flowers when she's here.
Right.
That's what he was doing.
Right.
Showing appreciation that she even took them in and was there for them.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Exactly right.
Out of all the people he could have got, Remick especially wanted them though.
Yeah.
That's what he said that.
What you said? Say that again? Read that again?
He said out of all the people he could have got, Remick especially wanted them though. Remick wanted Sammie. That's
all he wanted was Sammie. His aim was Sammie. He didn't care about nobody else.
Because he knew Sammie was the one that was playing the music, and Sammie was the one he needed to get.
Yes.
Right.
Sammie
Everybody else was just.
he didn't care.
He didn't care about them.
Yeah.
But it was helpful for him though.
Okay. Okay.
What?
Remember, it's a good point. He said he's a culture vulture. So, in order, I need all the folks that was at the juke joint that left to join me.
Okay.
Right? And he even said Sammie had powers. That's why he wanted him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, Sammie and Remick were the same person, and I don't mean they had the same powers.
Yeah.
Mm.
They had the same thing because look at what Remick was doing and look what Sammie was doing.
Correct. Because remember, Remick started singing. He started singing, so it was that connection. That connection.
So that's that. But then, as we want to go back to Mary leaving, Mary left. She left to get the money. That so smoothly. She left. She went to do what she do, like talk to them or whatever.
She went to get the money.
And then what was crazy is, first of all, when she walked back in, I was like, yeah, she got bit. As soon as she turned her back, she got bit.
But hold on, even before you even do that, she went out.
She went out.
She had to get the money. Okay.
Yeah.
You saw. That's when Remick flew.
Yeah.
Remember, that's when Remick flew. So you knew she got bit. You knew that. Yep. And then she comes back, and what's the brother's name?
Start acting for all that.
What's the brother's name? At the door, the brother at the door.
The heavyset dude. I forgot his name.
Cornbread.
Yeah.
Right. Cornbread is like, okay. She's like, you're not gonna let me in? He's like, you've been coming in all night. Like,
see,
why I gotta let
was
you in?
Right there.
That's after.
Okay, so now here's the thing. Remember, they say that never invite evil into your house.
Yep.
You've heard that. Every culture says that.
Yes.
Evil has to be invited into your home.
Yes.
Because if you don't invite it into your home, it's not going to come in.
Yep.
People, the old folks, and I mean the old, and every culture has this. The old people used to tell us that. Watch who you bringing into your house.
Yep.
Everybody don't belong up in here.
You can't bring everybody home.
Yeah. Everybody, you can't do that. And how many stories about somebody inviting somebody into their home, and next thing you know, it's fed, confusion, all because somebody was invited into their home. I was thinking about a story, and I think I told this to you, Rich, where the young girl, she was about in her 20s or whatever. She invited her friend, which was the same age, to come and stay at the house for a little bit. The girl stayed at the house, and then she didn't want to leave. And the young chick claimed squatters' rights in the house. Yeah, it's like, no, bitch, you getting out. Like, again, this is what people do. Again, letting people in the house that you shouldn't let people in. And like the funny thing, like I said, is, he was like, you've been coming in and out. Why you can't come in now? Like, because it has to be invited. Yeah. That's how come she couldn't come in. And then what happens? He lets her in. So now, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Remember what I said. There's a saying that, I don't know if they still say it, but he used to say, fucking with that white woman.
Yeah,
okay, you can look today, go online, and what's happening with somebody. Why? Messing with that white. What is his name from? He's currently in the news. What is his name? Has a podcast. It's the football. The football.
Squatters' right is dirty. Oof.
The football player.
Yeah. Well, he's not
got married to his girlfriend.
Oh, there you go. That's one.
The one that just got married to his girlfriend. They feel like he should have got a prenup.
And
he didn't get one.
That's one.
At the wedding, they said, "Look, she wasn't trying to kiss him or nothing. They just got married. He wasn't trying to hug him, but he was in his bar, so excited, it's us against the world."
We can run down the list. What's the brother that has the podcast now? He's in trouble because the girl.
I can't remember. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name right now.
Club Shay Shay.
Yes, Club Shay.
Okay. Club Shay. Him. He's going through it. all because
Yeah.
of, and we can O.J. Simpson. We can go through history
We
of
can
how
go through a
many
whole
people.
line.
Again, here we go messing with that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that. And remember, and think about it now. Who's the first one that gets bit? Who's the first one that gets bit? Mary. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the first one they let in the juke joint?
Mary.
Mary. Got it.
Mary.
Mary. Now, indicative, let's be very careful. Okay. Now,
Everybody like, we know her. We know
okay,
her. We
right.
know her.
We know her. Again, but here we go. Mary. Okay. So now it's like we let her in. How many times we let people in that are they're of us, but they're not from us?
Mess with the dog and you'll get fleas.
That
was hard.
do that a lot.
That was hard. That was hard, Twitty. That was hard. Sharp.
Yeah.
Mary wasn't even supposed to be there. You're right.
Right. She wasn't, because remember, she was getting on the train.
Yeah.
She wasn't supposed to be there. She was getting on the train. She was supposed to leave. But here we go again.
Oh, remember, hold on, pull it back real quick. Remember, was it Stacks was gonna go out there, but she was like, "No, you gotta let me go out there because they connect with me better."
Right.
So that's why she went out there.
Makes sense. Yes, makes total sense. And remember, they were arguing earlier about blah blah, and it's because she wasn't even supposed to be at the club, because that's what the fight was about.
At all.
Why are you here?
And she walked in like, "This is mine." Like,
why
I don't care what you got to say.
There's always one. There's always one.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Yeah. But here we go. But so now that's when she comes in, all whatever's going on. And then, but there's also a scene where one of the brothers was talking to Sammie, and he was telling Sammie, "You got to go. You got to leave. You got to leave here. You got to go." And he said a town. I forget the name of the town.
That was Stats. Was it Stats?
I forget which one it was. I forget which one it was. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Stacks. It was the other one.
Smoke. Okay.
It was the other one.
Because remember, he told him, you got to leave here. You got to leave this town. You got to go. There was the name of the town. I forget the name of the town. But he told him.
Was after the whole.
It was an area where all blacks are, where all the black people are. And that's what.
And I looked it up, and it was a town that they built, just like the Black Wall Street. Yes. Yes.
Everyone can't come to our function. Some things should be exclusive. Mary felt entitled.
Correct. Very good. Because the way she walked up in,
because she knew them.
She was like, I know them. Yeah.
Right.
So why should I be there?
Yeah. Shout out. What's next? Doesn't that so?
Wait, let's go back. Wait. We ain't done. So remember, you got Mary coming back in. As Mary coming back in, the female that Sammie was talking to was singing.
Yes.
I forgot her name.
When she was singing, how she was dancing and the movement she was making.
Right.
To me, it was, how do I say it? I took those movements, some of the movements she was making, like kind of snake movements in a way. Like it looked, I don't know how to explain it, but
I disagree.
It was just something different. It wasn't regular. She was all the way down on the ground, damn near, and making different movements and stuff. And I was just like, yeah.
I think she represents someone that was, she had a gift. She knew that something about she had a husband, right? So that goes by she was lying. I think she was lying.
I feel like she was lying too.
Yeah, I think she was lying. So she came there to which is, for example, right, when a guy comes up to a woman and be like, yo, what's up? Let me holler at you, da. She'd be like, nah, I got a boyfriend. I got a husband. That
that's what that was.
9 times out of 10, they're lying just so they can shoo away, right? So I think that represents that. And also she was like, oh, you know what? let me go there and see, what it's about. And then she was liking the kid, right?
Yeah.
Then she was liking the kid because of his talents.
But but the whole thing is, for me, with Mary coming in, and that's when she started her dancing and her singing. It was, to me, it's a connection right there.
Okay. So I have a question.
She was a black woman that didn't.
Okay. But I have a question. If that was a dude, would it be different?
What do you mean?
If that was a dude up there,
the lady?
Yeah. If that was a dude up there singing like that and moving like that, would it be different?
That's a great question.
And the only reason why I asked that is because,
like that.
And the only reason why I asked that is because when you look at the time, women were repressed.
Yeah.
They couldn't, the sexuality, they couldn't do that stuff.
Yeah.
So now, again, I've been treated as the second hand. I've been called mammy. I've been called girl by a 5-year-old, white chick. I come here, I can release this stuff. I'm just thinking about it. I'm not, again, this is our interpretation.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm biased right now is because I don't want to put anything negative on Pearline. And maybe that's because I'm biased. So I'm letting you know why I feel the way I do. So, tomorrow I might be different. If I see the ring on her finger, I'm going to think different. But I don't want to put that on a black woman. I just don't want to put it on a black woman, and that's just me. So sorry. I mean, I'm not going to apologize. So yeah.
Right. See, that goes back to she saw who people was and how big they put on that city. So she started liking him, almost like a groupie. Exactly. I agree with that.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Hold on.
I agree with T. Woody with that.
But remember,
she said, "Oh, I have a husband."
Okay.
Right? That goes back to what I was saying.
No, but wait a minute. Was this before her thing with her and Sammie in the room or after?
Before.
Did she sing?
No, that's after.
Was it after? We got it.
Wait, when she was dancing?
Yeah.
She was dancing. It was after her and Sammie.
So Sammie did something to her that maybe her husband never did to her before.
But remember, I think she was lying. She didn't have.
I don't know. Okay, put it this way. Sammie did something to her that nobody's ever done to her before. Is it possible?
That's a fact, because remember when it all went down, he was like, "What you doing?"
Right. Got it?
He was like, "What you doing?" This and that. She ain't never had that done before.
So
it was like, "Yo, I just want to taste."
But when you hit that spot, things happen. You're like, "Oh my God, yo, this."
Right.
No, I'm not advocating this, but
that's definitely the truth, though.
Right. But yeah, I'm saying, and because she was rushing for the penetration, and he was like, "No."
Yes.
And then like you said, there's a movie called it's on YouTube, The Lesbian Homie.
Oh.
Okay. I only watched season 1 yet. So did you see season 1? No. Okay.
I haven't seen it. The title just threw me off.
It's funny. It was on YouTube. But then not Netflix, Tubi picked it up. Tubi, okay. They'll see it. But there's a scene. The first, not to digress, but the first thing was in the first season, the lesbian chick has never been with a man before. So she tells her friends, and her friends were like, "Wait a minute, you lesbian, but you never been with a man, so you don't know to hate, that type of thing, blah blah blah. So you need to be with a man to see why you're a lesbian." So when she's with the dude blew her back out. So now we're talking about a dyke, like with the.
So she ain't staying lesbian.
Okay, so now she's doing her nails. She's lifting a little softer, and it's like her friends are catching on to it. And they're like, "What happened to you?" And she's like, "Nothing." And they was like, "Oh no!" But again, when you do things and you do things right, it's like you release a whole bunch of stuff. You're like, oh my God.
That's true.
What's next? What's next after this? Because
okay.
Now that brings me back to, actually, no, we talked about that already, about like different Black cultures. We talked about that already.
So now, Mary
cornbread. I
Hold
think
on.
cornbread got bitten.
Hold on, Mary goes out.
Right.
Right. She gets bit. Cornbread lets her in. Cornbread invites the evil into the Juke joint. Okay.
Yes.
That's how it happens. So now all this stuff is going on. Okay. Now,
remember before Cornbread got bit, Mary goes to the room with Stacks.
Right. And she bites Stacks. Right.
I think that goes where betrayal comes into play. Her and Cornbread represents betrayal.
Why do you say that? Why do you say her and Cornbread represent? Because Cornbread was simple.
But Cornbread, I think, represented as he was trusted. He became trusted person. And then after when he got bitten, he tried to come in. It was like, no.
Okay, even before that.
But it don't represent betrayal.
Okay. Even before that, Cornbread was simple.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't know no better.
He didn't.
He didn't know no better. He, like, okay, whatever.
The Asians represents betrayal? How?
Okay,
T. Whitty said the Asians represent betrayal.
Okay, we're gonna have to look at that. So T. Whitty said she looked
right.
She turned feminine after that night.
She turned feminine that night. Yep.
Okay. So
she only was an ally until it didn't benefit.
Okay. All right. So now what happens is they locked him up in the room. Okay, remember? And now
the Asian guy goes out.
Right, because of the baby.
He got bitten.
Because remember the baby. The baby was
everybody got out. Everybody that got out got bitten.
Everybody who left got bitten.
Yeah.
Cornbread went out. He got bit.
Yes.
And then he tried to come back in, and they were like, standing at the door, they were like, oh, what's going on here? You're not gonna let me in? But like, okay, hold on, what's happening? And the thing is, what's her name? The sister,
Annie saved the day. The black woman saved the day.
She didn't play no game.
Black woman saved the night. If it wasn't for her, everybody would have got bitten.
Her natural stuff. She knew what to do. All that.
Annie was like, no, this is not right.
Yep.
This is not right. Something's going on. No, this is not happening. And that's when everybody did the pause moment. Like, oh shit, you know what?
Yeah. If she's saying that, then it's true.
Yeah, something's funky. Something's going on here. So so that
she saved the day. Yeah, she did.
Yep. I did remember she told Stacks, not Stacks. What's the other one? The other brother.
Smoke.
She told him, if I turn, kill me. Put it right in my chest.
But what did she mean by that?
She was like, I got somebody waiting on the other side for me.
What did she mean by that?
Her child.
We found out at the end what she meant by that.
Because what happens is, if you get bit, right, you don't die. You don't cross over. Because she said, and this is very poignant. She said, because the first time it was amazing. The first time I saw it, she said, I got somebody on the other side. I got to go see. And when I saw the end, I was like, oh my gosh. When I saw the end, I was like,
oh, that's what it is.
That's what she meant. Because she knew that they made the deal. If I get bit, you got to continue and make sure. And that's why when they stabbed her, that's why Mary freaked out. Mary's like, because they all wanted to be part. They wanted all that whole family together.
Yeah.
It was like, oh no, it's because now the whole plan was getting all screwed up now. Because you're getting bit, but you're not you're not becoming one of us. You're crossing over. That's not what we wanted.
Yeah.
And then
they was killing all of them off. And then the Asians, you see what happened? Both of them, they stabbed each other. She stabbed them, and she went in flames.
Yeah, poof. And again, here we go. We got all this stuff going on, and then all people are coming back and the whole thing, and you're seeing all this stuff. But what's poignant? One of the poignant things is that
y'all forgot the dialogue. But go ahead.
Oh well, we got
between Remick,
I
between
didn't think
Remick
about
and the guys.
You mean at the
What?
at
Towards
the
yes,
door, at
the door, yes.
right. But see, remember what Remick was. Remick heard the music, the vibration. He knew what Sammie could do.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Listen,
Give me Sammie,"
and you all can go," because he just wanted Sammie.
Yeah.
and it was like, "No."
See, Remick was just like Sammie. Remick knew what
Yeah.
Sammie could do. So now the question is this.
But Sammie ain't know what he could do.
Now, let me ask you something. The question is this. Did Remick want Sammie or did he want the guitar?
Remick only came in because of the Asian lady. She invited him in because her husband was outside.
Okay.
Right. And her husband got bitten.
Her husband got bitten. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said? Did Remick want Sammie or did Remick want the guitar?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because the guitar was the piece that opened up the portals.
Oh yeah.
You see? I'm just asking the question. Because I don't think I don't think Remick was evil. And the reason why I don't think Remick was evil is because when Remick had Sammie, remember Remick had Sammie and he had him in the water, what was he doing? He was baptizing him.
Right. Oh, that was hard.
He was baptizing him. Got it? After all of that.
I never thought of that.
But now, now watch it close. He was baptized. He was like dunking him in the water. He was baptized. But the deep part was.
But they was fighting over that guitar.
When they were saying the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
And then all of them were saying the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
All the quote unquote evil ones were saying the Lord's Prayer. And it's like, and Remick was like, we know this. This is shit that was brought to us too.
Yeah, but remember, before I even get to that point,
the music.
Remember the songs they was singing.
The songs they were playing.
Yes.
You got the Irish going on.
Mm-hmm.
You had slavery songs being sung.
Right.
It was all types of stuff happening.
Yes, got it. Now remember what I said earlier about don't think about songs or music, think about vibration and sound. So it's like those sounds are opening up portals. You know, it's like, wait a minute, hold on, what's going on here?
It's true.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Poor Robin Clean. Pick poor Robin Clean. Damn. What? You got Can't Win for yo. Like the songs.
Yeah. So now you got being back. And I have to go back because I have to listen exactly to what Remick was saying. Because Remick was saying that the same thing that happened to you guys happened to us.
Yeah.
All of this stuff, it was brought to us too. This wasn't ours. Mm-hmm. So it's like we know this. And so saying the Lord's Prayer that's going to protect you, that even the quote unquote ones that got turned were saying the Lord's Prayer. Like we know this stuff. This stuff doesn't work. It doesn't work for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So T. Whitty said Remick's vibration were the opposite of Sammie's vibration.
But remember, they were still vibration.
Right.
They were still vibration. Yeah.
Now, remember when Stack got bitten, right? When Stack got bitten, it was Smoke versus Stack, right?
Oh yeah, yo, that was crazy.
Right. You mean the fight inside?
Yeah.
Okay, the fight. Now, one thing that my goddaughter taught me was that when they were fighting, Smoke was on the bottom. Stack got bit. Stack was on top. Smoke was on the bottom.
No, Smoke was up top.
No.
They was going back and forth though.
Okay. There's one point where Smoke is on the bottom.
Yeah.
And my goddaughter was telling me that the necklace that he had on, when he was on the floor, it was rising up.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that.
I didn't see it, but that's what she told me. So I got to go back and take a look. So here we go again. You know, we got stuff that is looking out for us and we don't even recognize it sometimes. Yeah. So it's like, So
I
that's
remember that. Remember that pendant that what he was wearing was what's her name?
Correct. Yes.
She gave it to him.
Right. Yeah.
To cover him.
Yeah. And remember when he went to the house, he took it off and she recharged it. Yeah. And he put it back on. Yes. Yeah. So that was it. So that's key. So now we got that.
Like there was a lot of battles between like devil and where it goes like if you want to get religious with it, God and devil and all this other. I think that like it was a lot of battles back and forth between that towards the end morally.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And the only reason why I would say I would say what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And the reason why is that because there's certain things that I don't ascribe to, but it's like it's right to me. It's right or wrong. That's because I'm not gonna say devil and God. I'm not gonna do. That's just to me. So now it's there's an African term for it, but I just want to say it's what we're looking at is we're looking at again take the horror out of it.
Yeah.
Take the horror out of it. Okay, let's do this. Take the horror out of it. Take the vampires out of it. Let's look at it as what you said earlier, Rich, was let's look at it as colonialism.
All right.
Let's look at it as colonialism. Here's a white person that's trying to take one of ours, right? He comes in.
A lot of ours.
Okay,
a lot.
So I'm just saying one. Okay, got it. Comes to the juke joint. Mary goes out. Mary's turned 100% because remember she was half. She's turned 100%. She comes back in, and just imagine everybody that left turned into quote unquote colonials.
And that was the whole thing too. Remember, they didn't know. They didn't. Dang, lost my train of thought that quick.
Yeah. So just they were colonials, and then all of a sudden they want everyone to be colonials.
Oh, that was the whole thing. Right, remember, he had it where anything they thought or they knew, he knew it.
Right.
He knew everything. Right. And that was the thing for me too, where you got to think about it. What was going on in history? Everything we knew was getting erased, and everything they know was getting put onto us.
Got it. Got it. Yes, exactly right. So now, what happens in the baptism? I know we jump, but in the baptismal, what happens is Sammie hits Remick with the guitar. Now,
and the metal is what took him out.
That was the guitar was powerful. It had powers, right?
Right.
Now, another thing also is that while people was with Remick, not only it represents like, remember, it goes back to what he was saying. He's a culture vulture, right? So when the black folks was joining him, it didn't just represent, oh, I'm gonna kill you, da da da. It represents freedom from pain. It represents like, oh, if you join me, then you would be free, right? False empowerment. And just like when you said, Charles, you said he was baptizing him. That was hard.
Take a look at it. Now remember,
and it also represents systemic. I think it's systemic racism too.
Systemic racism. Okay. Good point. Good, and that's why I'm saying when you take the horror out of it and be like, yo, wait a minute, that's what they're doing to us now. They're taking our stuff, they're giving us something new, they're selling us our stuff back to us as something new. Like, wait, this is our stuff.
Exactly.
But also what someone taught me, she said that it's deep because she said, and I have to take a look at this. When Remick got killed, his spirit didn't go down, it went up.
It did.
Facts.
That's true.
So I have to take a look and see if all of them, if that happened to all of them, if they all, if
it
all
did.
It did. I don't know. I'm going to take a look back. But see, that means something. Yes.
T. Whitty said Remick didn't want another group that was independent doing their own thing. Remick wanted ultimate control. That's facts. Because you see also when everyone got burned, right? When everyone got killed from the sun, right?
Right.
Remember, the Mary and Stack, they left. They ran away.
Because why? Why did they escape?
Because they know
they made a deal. Stack made a deal with his brother.
Right.
Stack didn't invite his brother. He didn't invite his brother, remember?
He didn't invite his
brother. He didn't. They made a deal. They made a deal. They made a deal to let Sammie go. They made the deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what happened. So now what happens is at the end, Smoke took the piece off his neck. And that's when he shot up the white man. And he got shot.
Yeah.
No, he didn't get shot. He stabbed him.
He got shot.
Remember, Stacks got shot first.
Okay.
Then he sat down. Then he wound up shooting the white man up.
Yeah, Smoke. Well, Smoke. Smoke got. Yeah.
Wait, didn't Smoke stab them? I believe Smoke stabbed him.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. No. Listen to what I'm saying. Smoke took the piece off of his neck, his protection.
Got it.
He had the Tommy gun. He took it off his neck, and what happened to him? He got shot.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that protection that he had, he didn't have it anymore. So he got shot. So he dies. Right. So what happens when he dies? Who does he see?
He see his girl and the baby.
See that?
That's what he was going for anyway. He was like, I'm gonna be back with them.
And right, got it. Excellent point. And remember, everyone that he loved and admired or whatever died the night before. It was only him. So he's like,
yeah, he was the last one.
He's like,
after he took them out, he took all of them out.
Right. He did use Twitty said I thought he used a guitar to kill him. I think he did use the guitar to kill him.
He used the guitar
because the guitar had the metal on it.
Sammie used the call to kill Remick. Right? But I'm talking about after that, the next morning.
Oh, when the Ku Klux Klan members came
the next morning.
Right. They wanted to kill Smoke so they can take over the Juke joint.
Right. The next morning.
Yeah.
So understand he took the protection off and show what happened. That's when he gets shot, and that's when so after going to the war.
So remember he aired them out. He aired all of them out before he even did that.
Right. Got it.
Because he knew they was coming.
Good point.
Yeah, he did. That's why he said to them, I shouldn't see you back over here since we bought it in the beginning.
And that's when I don't know if you knew that they were Klan members, and they were connected to the first couple that got bit. They were
because of what they said. Remember what he said.
Exactly.
Remember what he said. He put the connection.
Right.
Okay. No. Okay.
Right. No, that's what he said. Yes.
Right.
He and Remick exposed what they was gonna do.
Right. Okay.
Because it was all connection. So when they came after, Smoke was prepared for them. That's why he shot all of them.
Right. Okay.
And that brings me back, and that goes back to in real life how white racist culture. If we try to build something, they try to take it away. So if you can't do it off of just money, then we're gonna try to what to do with it? Destroy it.
Right.
Wasn't the joint a place to hang people? I believe so. The Juke joint,
but I don't know.
But remember, that goes back to for example, how I think it goes back to, and I might be reaching here, how Tyler Perry bought his studio, right? And it was a Confederate fields.
Right.
And now he turned it into his own studio. a black-owned studio.
But remember, at the very beginning, when they went to the place the first time, when he was touching the floor, and he asked him, "Did you wash
Did
the
you clean
floor?
the floor?
Did you clean the floor?" So it's that was possible. Yes.
Right. So then that's what it comes to. The baby coming in, Smoke was dreaming of the baby and them, and that's when he shot the white dude.
Right.
So yeah.
Now,
and then
keep going.
And then towards the ending, right? If y'all see the scene, that's when Stack. Wait, he asked why the floor was so dirty and slimy. Smitty said that. No, Smith. Smith said that. Smith. So that goes towards the end when Mary and Stack saw Sammie when he was no.
You're skipping.
Then it go. I'm sorry, I'm skipping. Then that goes to when Sammie went to his father's church.
Yes.
And that goes with back to
let go of the guitar.
He was like, no, and that's when he left again. He left
and went to Chicago.
And that's when he got into the film industry, I think, and all of that. And he was very successful in his career and everything. And that's when Stack and Mary got to see Sammie.
Yeah. And you see how they wanted to play. They gave him money. Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, they gave him the option of being with them, or he just, he can live a longer life or not. And he chose to not live a longer life, to live the life he's living, and they gave him the $200.
The name of the club was called Pearline.
Mm-hmm.
After the lady that he was with.
Got it. Oh, shit.
I didn't even realize that.
I didn't realize that either.
Now, here's another thing. Who let them in? Security let them in. They don't know.
Because of money. Remember, money. He said he gave me money.
They don't know.
They don't know what's going on.
They don't know. They didn't know. They didn't know. But then again, here he goes. He's still with Mary.
Yeah. Either way, he ended up with Mary.
Remember, Mary doesn't say anything. It was Stack.
Speaking the whole time.
Got it.
Yep. So, but Stack was like, hey, listen, you can live longer, just like you said. Okay? You can live longer. And he was like, all right, I'm going to just give you $200.
Right. Because he didn't want to live longer. He's like, I think I'm doing good right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he still got that guitar. He went and got the guitar fixed and all that.
Yeah. Right. There you go. So, and then towards the other end, you just see Sammie just playing the guitar music, and that was it. So, yeah. What do you think about overall?
Oh, please.
It was not a vampire movie. Off rip.
Got it.
That was not a vampire movie.
It's not.
And
guys on Instagram, what do y'all think? What do y'all think overall? T. Whitty and Smith. But yeah, what do you think, Charles, overall, and Zach?
Oh, listen, the movie. Okay. The movie.
Oh, we almost done. We about done.
Yeah, we're almost done. The movie's excellent. I mean, Ryan Coogler. Just when you have talent and tools and you let people do their job, everybody showed up and did their job.
Yes, they did.
Everybody showed up and did their job.
Yeah.
They sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Smith said a lesson in human nature.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was nice.
That was
correct.
I like that. A lesson in human nature. I like that. What about T. Whitty? Is he still on? What do he think? But yeah, that was good though. it, just waiting for him to say something. But if not, then we could just final thoughts, and then that's it.
Well, my final thoughts is, I mean, the movie is not a horror movie.
Not at all.
At all. It's so much covers. It covers love. It covers protection. It covers doing the right thing. It covers some old tropes that we've forgotten.
Yeah.
Like letting people in your house that shouldn't be in your house. You know,
Yeah.
all those things that people used to say that we've forgotten that we need to go back to. Yes. I want to see how many awards it's going to get.
Huh?
It definitely deserves an award. It definitely deserves an
does.
award. Yes.
Yeah. That's it.
Yep. All right. I don't think T really said anything. So we can get off then. But yeah, overall, it was good. If you have not seen the movie Sinners, see it. I think I gotta see it again, to be honest with you.
Me too.
Even though we just like, maybe it's something that I'm missing also. Yeah.
But
I gotta see the movie again, Sinners.
It's fine. It's fine to miss something. But like I said, when you listen to these conversations, you go back and go like, oh, I didn't see that. Oh,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, you know that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And Charles, I would like to do a review on Straw.
Okay. Got it.
Yo,
okay.
That movie there?
Okay.
That movie right there.
Okay. I'm going to watch it this weekend.
I'm telling you, Straw.
Because I'm about to watch it a second time. I'm not playing. That movie right there, it got me upset. It got me, I was all types of ways.
Okay. All right. Okay. Definitely. I'm going to watch it this weekend.
Definitely. But all right, y'all. Anything else before we get off? Just saw it. Oh my God. Oh,
that's good.
Yeah. But all right, y'all. So if there's anything else, we're getting off.
You got it. All right. Peace. So we're gonna do Straw next. We're gonna do Straw next.
Straw is next.
Straw.
Okay,
got it.
For sure.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right.
No, mommy.
All right, peace.
Good night,
Mommy,
guys.
no. I'm gonna say how